Welcome back, everyone. Today I've got something cool to show you. This time we're going to be taking a look at voice cloning. Now, we've done a bit of stuff with RVC in the past, but I'm going to show you something a little bit different. And it's got a really cool platform, all right? So we're not going to be using Google Colab this time. We're going to be using something called Pinokio. So I'm going to take a look at the website first. This is Pinokio, Pinokio. Pinokio.computer. Hope you can see that there. Let's just shift that up a bit. There we go. And essentially what it is like a one-click virtualization. So it instantly puts this onto your machine. Well, not instantly, it's got to install, but it's like a virtualization deal. So as you can see, there's a whole bunch of different modules you can use, and we're going to be taking a look at a whole bunch of these in the future. This is not a sponsored video, by the way. I'm just doing this because I love it. I think it's interesting, all right? They got a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun with this. So look, they got Live Portrait. We know what that is. They got Aura SR. We know what that is. Flux Web UI with Gradio. Now look, I'm a comfy guy. I love Comfy. I think Comfy is the best because you can write custom nodes for it. You can extend it. You can do whatever you want. But there is an argument that some of these tools are actually going to be faster to get off the ground. So certainly when we're looking at a lot of audio stuff, Comfy wasn't really made for doing audio. So we've always had to use Gradio or sort of Google Notebooks. All right. Look, here's Florence. We got Florence. So I'm just looking at a couple of these. Focus is an in-painting thing. We've got that in comfyUI. There's probably a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't mean to diminish them, by the way, guys. I'm just talking about how it's related to what we've done. We've used Photo Maker. What else have we got in here? AudioCraft. I don't think I've used AudioCraft before. Flux. Yeah, we looked at that. Forge. I don't do that because we do Comfy. Look at that. We've got comfyUI. Isn't that interesting? Be interesting to see how that runs. There's also a couple of things for Macs. Moshi. Real-time dialogue. Okay, we're not looking at that one right now. There's also Whisper. I might actually get that because I do want something to dictate, it'll like dictate speech into text. And I do want that. Face Fusion looks cool. There was something up here called Face Poke where we can move the faces around. So there's a whole bunch of stuff here. But essentially what you're going to do is you're going to download it. And then when you open it up, you're going to get this interface here. So what have I got here? We're going to be looking at the E2F5 TTS, which is a fairy tailer that fakes fluent and faithful speech with flow matching. All right. So that's what we're going to be doing. One-click install. Once you've got it downloaded, you've got this app interface. So let's just minimize this for a second. Okay. Can I make this bigger? Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick look at how you would get things when you actually have it installed. All right. So you click Discover, and then it gives you all of the modules. Now, I don't know if it's possible for you to create your own and add them to a repo. I haven't looked into any of that stuff yet, but I would imagine that it's possible that you can submit your own somehow, because it looks like, there's a link to the project and there's some kind of script version thing. So anyway, we're going to be taking a look at the E5 F5 TTS, which is right here. I've already got it installed, so I just click on Home, and there it is. So I'm just going to click on it, and it's going to start up. Now, while it's starting up, let's just give you a little bit of explanation of, well, you can see what it's doing. It's just automating all the Conda stuff, all right? Now, this isn't going to touch your system Python, which is nice, and it is a virtual computer. So what we can do is we can do everything in here, and then we can just drop it when we're done with stop, all right? Obviously, we get to get all the files out of it because I think it forms a Gradio style interface. Yeah, it does look like there's a Gradio. You can see it down here, Gradio app, right? Now, you could run this on your PC manually, but this makes it easy, yeah? All you have to do is just click the button and let it go. Just go away and get yourself a drink, get something to eat, come back, it'll be ready to use, and it'll just sit there, and it doesn't cost you nothing. Obviously, you do need a local GPU, guys, but that's what we're kind of all about here. If you wanted a cloud solution, I'd be talking about RunPod, wouldn't I? So this right here is very cool. If you've got a nice NVIDIA graphics card, it opens things up quite a lot. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if it is using my graphics card, because looking at it here, it says CPU, but whatever. I'm not going to get into the technicals. There you go. Look at that. It's ready. So what is E2 F5 TTS? Not an amazingly marketable name, I'm going to say, but the big deal with F5 and E2, they're actually separate, right? I find F5 is the better version. So let's just show you where you can change that. See here, we got F5 and E2. It only needs 15 seconds to clone a voice. So it's voice cloning, right? So we're going to put in our, we're going to chuck in our audio sample. So we take a voice, right? We put in 15 seconds of audio, which is virtually nothing, all right? We chuck that in here, and then we type whatever text we want to generate. If we wanted to make it a little bit more accurate, what we can do is we can open up the advanced settings, and we can type the transcript, because sometimes Whisper gets it wrong, and that's going to affect how it learned the words. So whatever the clip is, we upload that in here, and then it's going to do a whisper to see what the words were that were spoken. And then it's going to map that to speech. So obviously it might not pick it up right. So you can manually type in what was being said for those 15 seconds here. That's going to make it a bit better. I did find that slowing it down to like 0.8 or 0.9, I think, helped a bit. Sometimes it's a bit too fast. And the crossfade duration, sometimes I increased that to 0.2. But it's up to you. You've just got to hear it and go, do I like the sound of this? And then play with it, right? Now, the best thing about this software is once you've got yourself a file for a voice and you're happy with how it's generating, you can get a collection of a whole bunch of different voices. Now, if you remember the Open NotebookLM, which came out recently, and the NotebookLM from Google, which has been out for a while now, it has that podcast feature. Now, what I've been doing is I've been using Claude to generate my script and then pre-program the character speech patterns with a prompt, okay? So I'll just say to Claude, hey, Jeff talks with a fast voice and he's obsessed with computers. And then Jane, she talks with a slow, soft voice, but she's skeptical about everything that Jeff is saying. Okay, so there's an example of how you can start, and then you have a little conversation with the LLM. And at the end of that conversation, you say, now give me a distilled prompt, which I can use, or even better, because actually this is a script. I got to remember, I'm talking about personality. That's how you code the personality of the speaker. So you say, use all of that to give character to your script. And then you say, I want to have a conversation. So we're going to look at this podcast, right? So I want to have a conversation with a person. Two people are talking about this, whatever it is. So this is the subject. And I need it to be name, words. Next name, words. There's two people talking, Jeff and Jane, and it's going to create you a script, which you can just drop in. Okay. So what we're going to do, so obviously we have the voice. We put the voice in here. You can put the reference text in, but it does do it automatically. You don't have to put the reference text in. You just can. You can also give a name. So Jeff's voice, what he said in the sample, then Jane's voice, the recording, and then what she's saying in that sample. And then here's how you drop it in. So you see this here. So name, a script, right? But you can ask Claude or ChatGPT to give you that format and just generate the script, right? And obviously you can read it back and go, no, this is robotic, or this doesn't look good, this doesn't sound right, and just continue to develop it. And as I say, once you put that in and hit generate, it's going to give you a similar sort of thing to what you were getting from the NotebookLM. I don't think it's quite as long, but again, all they're doing is chaining it, right? So if you can generate a minute or a 2-minute debate, it's possible to generate more script and do another one, then do another one, then do another one. And then you get up to 12 minutes, which is how long those are very quickly. And like I said, if you're doing it in a Claude or a ChatGPT, You do it all in one chat, and then it's going to keep in mind what the first part of the script was. So it won't, it'll kind of make sense. It'll all be connected together. And then also you can kind of steer it a little bit. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at what the prompts for those are. We're going to look at how you can get this all together using something like Audacity, right? And we're just going to get some fun voices off the internet and see if we can emulate those voices, right? Now, any voices that you hear are purely coincidental and do not represent the views of the person that we are cloning, and they will be taken from public sources, probably on YouTube or something like that. All right. Now, we're not trying to put voices, we're not trying to put words in people's mouths, but I do need to use someone's voice. Otherwise, how do you know it's even accurate, right? I would say that a lot of these models they often have an American bias, okay? So it kind of Americanizes the voice. Like if I was to clone myself, it doesn't do British accents very well, okay? But none of them do, right? RVC doesn't, even 11 Labs, when you do cloning on there, the paid services are much more advanced than a lot of this open source stuff. And even they struggle sometimes with not giving everything a hard R, which is because of the data, all right? So that's pretty much everything. I notice we're nearly 12 minutes in and I haven't even shown you anything yet. So I do want to show you the other features before we actually do anything that could get us in trouble. So multi-style. Now, this is pretty cool. This is something which I haven't seen before. You can actually take 15 seconds for each emotion. So we can have a surprise. We can have 15 seconds of being surprised. We could have 15 seconds of being sad, 15 seconds of being angry, 15 seconds of whispering, and 15 seconds of shouting. And I don't know exactly how. I think you have to do each one individually. Yeah, I think you have to do each one individually. I haven't even done this yet, but when I looked at it, I was like, whoa, that's crazy, because we've never been able to do the emotion like this. So I'm assuming what it needs is 15 seconds of audio for each emotion type. And then you're going to have to actually tell it what tell it what it is, put it in, unless it's going to do it. No, wait, I'm wrong. I think it's going to do it by itself. Hang on. Oh yeah, add speech type. There we go. No, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. So you'd put surprised. It's pretty straightforward, guys. So you put surprised, and then you have your surprised clip. And then we want to add another one. So we want to do sad. Okay. And like I said, if you're trying to if you're trying to voice a storybook, you can bring your characters to life here. Okay. Obviously, they're based on real voices, but if you're doing an impression, it's all you. So I don't really see there's like a copyright issue or you know what I mean? We're not trying to deep fake here. Okay. We're trying to give you the ability to use these tools for creative purposes in your own projects. That's what this is about. So here we go. And then obviously you would set it up with the brackets. So we've only got regular sad. So I take these. So if I had a 15-second clip of regular talking, a 15-second clip of surprise talking, a 15-second clip of sad talking, if I then use that prompt, it's going to go, hello, I'd like to order a sandwich, please. What do you mean you're out of bread? I really wanted a sandwich, though. Anyway, that's probably not sad. That's probably just downtrodden, but whatever. All right. So I hope you get the point of that. Now then, voice chat. Let's see. Upload audio clip. Record message. So this would be your voice to voice, I think. No. AI will respond. Okay. So you can talk. So you can talk to the AI. Wow, that's crazy. So I could have a conversation with the AI. So I put my 15 seconds of audio in, choose whether I want F5 or E2. And that's the point, right? E2 is embarrassingly easy, fully non-auto-regressive zero-shot TTS. Now, I found that sometimes E2 sounded better, but usually F5 is the best, which is a fairy tale that fakes fluent and faithful speech with flow matching. Now, again, these are, I love the names that get given to these because, I probably would have just called it like Snowball and Icicle or something. I don't know. It's just too long, guys. It's really cool, but it's so long. All right. So we've got F5 and E2. That's what we're going to call them. So let's just take a look at the credits. So thank you very much to Mr. Fake Name, Routing in Load, and JP Gallagher. There we go. But yeah, the reason I wanted to introduce this platform wasn't really just because this is a really cool TTS. It's actually because there's so much else on there. And like I said, I think that this sort of thing is going to open up accessibility for a whole bunch of other AI projects that maybe we've never even looked at. I mean, look at this, Diamond. What's Diamond? World modeling. Look, they're making games. They're making games. Then look, Pac-Man. All right. Now, I'm a game developer. I love developing games. I usually work in Unreal Engine 4, but I mean, look at this, Counter-Strike. What? Frame by frame on my home computer. Yeah. So it's a world model that is trained on Counter-Strike. So again, I'm new to this. So literally as new, it's as fresh for me as it is for you. I'm looking at this for the first time. So, and here, look at this. Download and play it for yourself. I need to go there right now. Diamond. Yeah, it's the same thing. All right, cool. So Diamond, Diffusion, a model of environment dreams, reinforcement learning agent. So that's something we're going to be taking a look at in the future, as long as this runs. And like I said, normally this is quite hard to get running if you're not a developer or an engineer, or at least familiar with, Python and Git projects and all Conda and everything. So being able to use Pinokio to load up these things is going to make your life easier. It means you can get stuck in and perhaps actually get something made with this sort of thing. So that's everything. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause while I load up the TTS so I can give you at least a quick demo of what this is. Now, I do want to use a recognizable voice. And like I said, I do not encourage you to put bad words in people's mouths, even though it can be funny sometimes. You got to be responsible with what you do, guys. Okay. So here it is. We're going to stop and I'll be right back with some demo stuff. Okay, so we don't get in trouble for cloning people's voices, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use myself. So I'm going to talk for 15 seconds. So I'm going to talk for 15 seconds and see if we can get enough audio to clip my voice. Now, it's probably going to come out sounding a little bit American, as I say, because there's always a little bit of a bias with the model. So I'm just going to talk until I hit 15 seconds. And then I'm going to go export audio. I'm going to call it Johnson. Okay, now sometimes you have to make this a mono. Export to mono. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab this, because when I was doing it, it was almost too funny, and you're probably going to get in trouble. So let's just kill that. Put that there. Then I'll say, once upon a time, I was a donut. Then I looked up at the sky and saw the clouds were grey. That's good enough. All right, so let's go for that. Once upon a time, I was a donut. Then I looked up at the sky and saw the clouds were grey. Okay, so I think you can see that doesn't sound like me, right? So it might sound like the person, but it doesn't sound like me, right? So let's just put it over to the E2 and do it again. And like I said, the goal isn't to copy, even though it is voice cloning. I think it's just a quick way to be able to make voices so that we can do text to speech. That's the main thing, all right? And then it's possible to get a good sample and then use that to make the voice. So here we go. 15 seconds. Once upon a time, I was a donut. Then I looked up at the sky and saw the clouds were grey. You know what? That's actually terrible. I don't know why it's being so bad right now. Hang on a minute. Let's see if we can just tweak a few things. Maybe it's because I slowed me down too much. Different voices react differently. We'll go with the E2 this time. It could be that the recording quality isn't good enough as well. There's a lot of stuff you have to mess around with these tools, but I was getting great results when I was using a speech model which I had previously made. Once upon a time, I was a donut. Then I looked up at the sky and saw the clouds were grey. It's weird. It's like I'm getting a strange distortion out of the generation, which I wasn't getting before. I don't know where that's come from. It was working a lot better when I last checked this out. It is what it is. Could be my microphone, could be the audio. Maybe it doesn't want mono anymore. What I'll do is I'll make one in stereo and see if that makes any difference. John stereo. Okay, so we'll have another listen to this. Once upon a time, I was a donut. Then I looked up at the sky and saw the clouds were grey. See, that's actually a lot better. I didn't really change anything. Let's put it to speed 1. One more time. And then we'll try the other sample. But it's like your results may vary. I mean, hey, maybe I just sound different in my head. And to you guys, those sounded close enough, because there is an element of that, the resonant frequency of the bones in your skull. The bones in your skull. There's the resonant frequency of your skull makes you sound different to yourself. I'm sure you guys know this. And so it might just be that I'm not hearing it like other people hear me. And therefore it sounds different to me, but actually on playback. Let me just hear my playback real quick. So I'm going to talk for 15 seconds and see if we can get enough. Once upon a time, I was a donut. Then I looked up at the sky and saw the clouds were grey. Do you know what? That's actually pretty close. See, in my head, I don't sound like that at all. But on the recording, it's actually pretty similar. So, okay, fair enough. So, Rob, what we're going to do is we're going to delete this one and use the stereo just to make sure. Because normally it was mono vibes. You had to use a mono sample for all the RVC training. So I just sort of did that automatically. It doesn't actually say you have to do that here. So I'm going to talk for 15 seconds and see if we can get enough audio to clip my voice. Now, it's probably going to come out sounding a little bit American, as I say. It didn't come out sounding American, actually, which I'm surprised. Once upon a time, I was a donut. Then I looked up at the sky and saw the clouds were grey. Wow, it even almost got the cadence right. Because if you notice, I was doing a little bit of a bit of a cadence thing with my voice in this. So I'm going to talk for 15 seconds and see if we can get enough audio to clip my voice. Now, it's probably going to come out sounding a little bit American, as I say. Once upon a time, I was a donut. Then I looked up at the sky and saw the clouds were grey. That's actually not bad. That's actually not bad at all. So like I said, all you need is 15 seconds. Create the 15-second clip. Let's just try the stereo to see if that makes any difference. And I haven't done the reference text. I'm just using Whisper, so you can actually improve it further by typing in what you actually had, what the recording is saying. So again, we'll listen to this is the actual sample I recorded, and then we'll listen to the transformation of the TTS. Because there's always a little bit of a bias with the model. So I'm just going to talk until I hit 15 seconds. Once upon a time, I was a donut. Then I looked up at the sky and saw the clouds were grey. Yeah, I think that mono was better, actually. Let's just put the mono back in. Wait a minute. Yeah, let's put the mono back in. So I'm going to talk for 15 seconds and see if we can get enough. Do it one more time, like I said, with the mono. I think the mono is best. Once upon a time, I was a donut. Then I looked up at the sky and saw the clouds were grey. Yeah, see, we got a little bit of a weird warbling artifact around here-ish, where it sort of sounded a bit like a robot. Just generate it again if it doesn't sound good. I'm pretty sure that there's like a seed system in here that you can't access. It doesn't give the same result every time. Right, so let's just move on to the podcast stuff. Go to my GitHub. I'm going to show you where I'm going to put the prompts, which I use to make these debates and the characters and the scripts, right? They're not there right now, but they're going to be in here, right? I'm going to make a new folder called TTS, And you'll be thinking, well, what the hell do I need an LLM prompt for TTS? It's to make the script and to define your characters. I've already made a whole bunch of GPT-4 agents, which are some of them are very in-depth. And like I said, I'm going to make a new folder and I'll put the prompt in there. Okay, so here's an example of one of the LLM convos that I've had with Claude. So I said, I have 2 speakers, so I want to write a debate script for. The topic of the debate is Twinkies. Are they really bad for you? Please use this structure for the debate script. Sam, speech here. Jean, speech here. And so on. Omit the brackets and place lines into the speech here. Iterate through the debate. That's all it is. Okay, and so it'll come up with a script. There's my script. I could just copy that straight in. However, I didn't want the moderator in there. I was saying, now rewrite the script to make it shorter and funnier. Makes it funnier. Then I start defining the characters. Jean is a woman. She doesn't like Sam. Sam is a man. He's stoic about her. Keep going. Remove any screenplay. This is a pure audio only script. Okay. And like I said, if I get to the end, I could say, please distill. I might just say XML. Yeah, XML structured. That's perfect for both speakers. Okay, now that is pretty good. But by doing this, I'm going to include everything I just spoke about and make it open and modular like a template so we can change what they're talking about and everything else. Okay. So then we end up with, wait for it. Oh. And that's too much. Okay. Please distill this prompt to make it shorter and eliminate any specifics to this exact debate, creating an open template. You just got to talk to it like a human and it'll do what you want. Okay, there you go. It's a lot shorter. Still quite long, but it's a lot shorter. Now, the reason I've done it in an XML format is so that, we're able to define and it understands. Okay, so let's just take a look at this prompt here. Generate a 2-person debate from debate script on topic. So obviously you can change the topic. Now, where do I put the topic? Right. Okay, so it wants you to say what the topic is. So what I could do is when I'll create this as a text file, right? So I'll copy this. I'm just going to show you how I do this, right? Because it's much, much easier. If we open a notepad, I'm going to want a new notepad. That's my init script for Mochi. So we'll say that, and then we'll save this as TTS debate template. So this is what's going to go up on the GitHub for everybody. So that is the prompt as far as it's concerned. And then it gives an example format too. So we do not want a moderator because that's not the type of debate that we're doing. We're just doing 2 people talking like a podcast. All right. So then we can do that like that. There. Yeah, speaker guidelines. Make sure there's no more reference to a moderator anywhere. Reveal worldviews. Well, you can change anything. You can change anything here, right? So what we'll do is we'll save that. Now, when we go to Claude, we're going to start a new text, new thingy. Where is he? Where did you save it? Notepad. Okay, there we go. I have my text file. I just resaved it. I don't know where it was saving things. So let's go back to Claude. Got a new chat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this in and I would then just press enter. Now, right now, it doesn't have any names. So it's just going to say name 1, name 2, and so on, right? Oh, hey, actually, look at that. Isn't that amazing? Please provide the debate topic. So I could say 1, world peace. I could say 2, names for Jack and Jill. Now that's going to be fun because it actually doesn't like that because it's a nursery rhyme and it gets its nuts in a twist about copyright. Seriously, try and get it to tell you poems. It'll be like, I'm sorry, I can't do that. We'll say Jack and John. Okay. Oh, I forgot to do the rest. Whatever. it's just going to generate the personalities for me because I'm lazy. And then it's going to go ahead and make my debate script. There you go. Done. Done. It's going on about NATO. What did I ask? Oh, yeah, I asked about world peace. That's fair. Okay, cool. So I hope that explains. I know I did that really quickly, but I hope that explains how that's done. Obviously, you'll want to customize your template. And if you don't, it'll just ask you to put them in anyway. So it's not that inconvenient. And if you can't be bothered, it's just going to generate stuff. So it works really well, like I say. And what we can do is we can just copy that. And then we could go over to our tool again. And I could say Jack here. I could say John here. I could put, let's see. It's going to sound a bit weird to use myself twice. But it will work. Okay. And we put the podcast script in, hit generate, and off it goes. Now, I think that might be a bit too long. Let's see. Oh, no, it's just doing it in steps. Look at that. But at the end, it's going to give us something to listen to. And I won't subject you to the whole thing. I just want to show you it actually works. Okay, let's give it a quick sneak. Power and deterrence. Look at the European Union. Nations that fought for centuries now cooperate daily. They've proven that economic interdependence and shared values. Oh man, that is dry. But yeah, basically this is the deal. Like I said, 15 seconds. It's pretty impressive. Obviously your mileage may vary depending on the sample that you train your voice with. That's why it's important to make sure you're getting a good output here. And then you can just transfer that over to the podcast. I think we've pretty much covered everything here. Hopefully we're going to have a good old look at this later. So where are we now? Okay, so thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.